She pictured herself stretched out on a sofa like she'd seen in the films, munching through the contents of the chocolate boxes, deliciously soft and sweet. She imagined licking the melting chocolate from her fingers, though it wasn't chocolate that coated them now, stuck as they were with all the cotton fluff and grime from the machines at the factory. It never occurred to her the boxes might be dummies. "I'll be 15 next birthday," she thought. "In March. Not that anyone else would remember. 15, and I've never had a present in my life. One of these days I'm going to have one and it'll be all wrapped up just like those." She sighed before adding, "Not only for my birthday, but for Christmas as well." Suddenly, through the thin fabric of her shabby coat, she felt the touch of a hand in the small of her back, and she spun round, feeling foolish, and hoping she hadn't spoken her thoughts out loud. "Bobby Mirren," she squealed, "what do you think you're doing?" "Just being friendly." He tilted his head to one side and gave her a lopsided grin. "Thought maybe you'd like Christmas to come early this year, if you know what I mean." He winked. "I'll make it worth your while." Elsie's hand closed on the wage packet that filled her coat pocket when he said that. Not for the first time she thanked no god in particular that she had a steady job at the textile factory. At least it meant the family could eat, most days. So long as her man was smart enough to grab something back off her dad before he drank it all away. She gazed at Bobby for a second or two, then beckoned towards the end of the street with her head. There was still some daylight left in the early wintry afternoon. He crooked his elbow and she slid her arm through his as they sauntered off down the road together. She could feel the envelope in her pocket as she walked, but she was thinking that an extra halfpenny or two would never go amiss. It was completely dark by the time she got home, and as she opened the front door to number 18 Back Gas Street, it wasn't much brighter inside. A dull glow was emitted by the small clump of coal that still smouldered in the hearth at the back of the room. But the single light bulb that dangled from the low ceiling close to the room's solitary window was not lit. She flicked the switch on the wall, but nothing happened. In the gloom, she stumbled over the pile of filthy clothes that still lay unwashed from last week. She sighed. Her mother had promised to do them today. "Is that you, our Elsie?" There was no mistaking the bloated shape of Alice Grimshaw as she emerged in the gloaming from the scullery that was curtained off from the room, behind the stairs at the back. The telltale bump of her stomach looked about ready to drop, even though Elsie knew her mother had a few months to go before yet another wailing mouth to be fed appeared. In her arms, 12-month-old Jack, favourite teddy in hand, struggled to get down. For once he'd heard the voice of his favourite big sister, he was in no doubt about where he wanted to be. He grinned at her. A ghoulish grin, for his front teeth were already black and decayed from constantly sucking on the bottle he had inherited from his 3-year-old sister, Polly. It was kept almost permanently topped up with sugared water to keep him quiet. "I managed to get us a yesterday's loaf," Elsie said. "I bloody hope there's some of that dripping left over what our Phyllis cadged off Mrs. James next door." Jack had crawled over the cold flagstones to where Elsie was standing and clasped her knees, his arms appealing to her to pick him up. It was hard to resist him with his blue eyes and blonde curly hair, even if his head was scabby with lice. From a distance, he looked a bit like the little cherub in the soap advert they had in town. But close to it was hard not to see that his poor little face was too gaunt, and his arms and legs too much like those of a matchstick man to really look like such a pin-up. His legs